Kick is up, has the accuracy, and it is good. Jake Bates throwing right side, and it's going to be intercepted. Return past the 15, past the 20, out past the 30. Has space down the sideline. 40, 35, 30. And he is gone. A pick six for Houston. Snap good, hold good, kick up. And it is straight down the middle. Looking to throw, rolls out right. Throws end zone. Touchdown San Antonio. Cody Latimer alone in the end zone. They take a 1-point lead with 3 seconds left. 52-yarder, left hash, for the win. Snap good, hold good, kick up, and it's drilled. Miami escapes week 1 with the win. Jason Sanders is looking to throw. Pass right side, wide open. Touchdown Drake London. Touchdown Drake London. Atlanta has tied this game and are an extra point away from taking the lead. Needing the 12-yard line. Handoff, Robinson left side. And going to be stuffed. A loss of 4, maybe 5 on the play. And with 50 seconds to go, the Chiefs have the ball. And most likely that does it. Ball on the 17.5-yard line. Looking to throw. Stepping up, throwing for the end zone. And caught. Touchdown Green Bay. Dontavian Wicks. 56 seconds to play. The Packers are within 3. 6:17 to play in overtime. Tua shotgun, back to his left. 3 receivers to the right, bunched up. Tua to throw. Has time. Plenty of time. Pass. End zone, left side. Jonnu Smith. Touchdown Miami. They're gonna win. Let's go, baby. Here, back behind him. 3 receiving options to the left. Gonna send Smith in motion. Toss left side for Saquon Barkley. Good blocking and room to run. Pass midfield, spinning his way. Pass to 35 to 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and the Eagles respond instantly. Saquon Barkley. Oh my, making his presence felt. 1 play, 60 yards, 3rd and 9 from the 35. Mahomes looking to throw. Quick pass left side, caught by Piron. Has room to run. First down and more. Down to about the 17. And he stays in bounds. That will do it. The Kansas City Chiefs have escaped the Bills and have punched their ticket. Hello, 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 and welcome. Continuing on week 6 of the UFL. It's Memphis and Houston. How's everyone doing? I see you there, Bob Flasher. Last time these two teams played, they came down to the wire, and it started Houston's little win streak, not win streak, but the little hot streak that they've been on. Winning 2 of their last 3. Doing all good. Again, you had a great night last night with majority of your sports teams winning. Obviously, the Cardinals, but like you said, MLB season is still way well early on, so. Hello. Yeah, we just wait for kickoff in this one. Again, Houston's won 2 of their last 3 in what has been some very interesting wins and a close loss to Birmingham. Memphis got their first win last week, looking to continue and get back into the race. Really, it's like if Houston wins, they're sitting potentially tied with a Michigan or a Birmingham after this week. So the entire season can be different for Houston with another win today and winning 3 of the last 4. Memphis has a chance to claw their way back into the USFL conference, but it's still a long shot for them. But this will be a very good start, as this is, I want to say, the easiest of their back half games, as they do play San Antonio still. But definitely it's a very tough schedule on this back half for Memphis, but it's a lot more challenging for Houston. So this is one that they kind of need to win. Hell yeah. Again, it's How early on into preseason is it for the WNBA? Because I'm sure, like, as it progresses, there will be more. I'm just, looking at Houston's schedule that in this back half. Okay, it's only first game in. Yeah, it'll be fine then. Yeah. So after this game for Houston, they play at Birmingham, Michigan twice, and DC. This is as close to a must win as you can get in the halfway mark of a season for Houston, because it's going to be a tough road going forward, and to continue riding the hot hand would be nice for them. Memphis can sneak in one more win this season against San Antonio, even if they lose today. But Houston has a really nice shot. Yeah, this could definitely be a higher scoring game than last night. I mean, last time these two teams played, it was 18-17 the final. I wouldn't put too much weight into it being a high scoring game, just because Memphis does not like scoring more than 20. I mean, the only time they've done that this season was last week in overtime. But typically they sit around that 16-15 mark. But obviously, we'll see. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to hear you and Benito talk about the WNBA this season. I know Benito's also a massive fan of it with working on a team. Yeah, depends massively on his defenses. Both defenses are missing players, as well as Memphis is getting their star linebacker back. But yeah, Houston's gonna be without quite a few defensive players in this one. Their back half of their secondary is pretty weak today, so we'll see. Yeah, but it's also like data, even dating back to last year, Memphis has only scored 20 plus points in 2 games through 15 weeks. So that's why it's gonna be an interesting one to see how hot Memphis can really start getting with Dresser Win behind center. As Memphis will get ball to begin this game, we're going to see this offense first as the kickoff is underway. Going to be returned beginning near the 21. I'm shocked he didn't let that bounce. As the Derek Prince brings it out to the 32. Right off the bat, kind of a misplay. If they let that bounce, that probably lands outside the landing zone, and thus it will be ball near the 40 or the 50. So not a great start. But out comes Dresser Win. It had a pretty solid showing last week. He won Offensive Player of the Week for the UFL in a big time win for Memphis over the defending champs. Now he has a shot to kind of see what he can do. As that this Houston stadium, man, holy. There's like maybe 1,000 people in the stands. That's being generous. God. And like part of this is 100% marketing, but Houston is riding hot. How is? I don't get it. By the way, Win in shotgun, back behind him, 2 receiving options to each side. First play of the game will be a handoff left side for Deneric Prince. Has room to run, past midfield and still going, breaking tackles, and that's going to be gone. The 5-touchdown Memphis first play of the game. But there is a penalty marker. We'll see what this is. Deneric Prince, plenty of room down that left side. 1 play touchdown. That's a way to start a game. Yeah, most likely be coming back. Yeah, but holding on Memphis. Okay, I'm kind of thankful that's getting called back for a holding because for as much as I love first play touchdowns, I much prefer them when it's later games and not noon kickoffs. Yeah, they're calling that on James Tunstall. Hey, it was still a good carry for Prince, but that's an unfortunate way to start this game. Now a 1st and 20 for Memphis. There's Noel Mazzone. Win and shotgun back to his right, 3 receiving options to the right as well. Going to hand this off up the middle, and there's some room to run. That's going to pick up those yardages right back from the holding call. That's Wes Hills on the carry. He signed this past week for Memphis. Gain of 10 on that play. Was on Michigan last year. Was a piece that I was shocked Michigan did not bring back for this season, as he's a really good hard-nosed runner. So Memphis is again trying to build off that hot win after last week, and bringing in Wes Hills is definitely a way to do that. Yeah, it's great. Again, I was shocked. One, that Michigan did not bring him back after last year, and two, that it took until halfway through the season that he got a shot again. He was a damn good runner last year. As Win and shotgun back to his left, 3 receivers to the right for the 2nd and 11 play, as he will look to throw for the first time today. Pressure coming, going to step up and roll to his right to buy some time. Passing over the middle, and that's caught for a first down and more. Down to the plus 40. Kwame Lassiter on the reception. And Memphis' offense they're having some movement going for them. That was a good throw by Win. Getting out of the pocket, a little bit behind, but Lassiter is able to make a play on that ball. That's just being nitpicky. Win and shotgun can play action, look to throw. Pressure coming, rolling to his right, and going to just dump it off for a gain of about 2 to Lassiter once again. Yeah, Dresser Win, again, he definitely proved me wrong last week in that win. If he can come out again and really like show out against like a beaten up Houston secondary, he might Memphis might have just found their guy. And yeah, Kwame Lassiter, I mean, he hasn't been like the main target this season for Memphis, but he's been a very solid third receiver and kind of a utility guy for this offense. As Win and shotgun will play action once again and pass left side, and that's incomplete. Looking for Jonathan Adams, but good coverage forces it loose. Now a 3rd and 8 coming up. It is so funny to see that Memphis's offensive coordinator, one of his like career highlights is coaching Phillip Rivers at NC State. And it's crazy that Phillip Rivers has like been retired for like 5 years at this point. Yeah, I still need to like properly dive into Lassiter's story. I might do a video on it, honestly. Win and shotgun back to his left, going to hand this off to Prince up the middle, and that's going to be a loss of about 2 back to the 40. So some bend don't break action from this Houston defense is going to force it would be a 57-yard kick for Memphis if they decide to try it. Offense is staying on the field for right now. It's a 4th and 10. And yeah, they're in no man's land here. For as good as Matt Coughlin is, this is still a long kick. There's only a handful of guys you would feel completely confident in sending out for this. And as for guys in the UFL, there might only be one in Blankenship. But even then, that's his career long. All right, now Wynn's heading towards the sideline. We'll see what the decision is here. Look at it. Even in the NFL, yeah, here comes a punting unit. So they're going to send this one down, trying to pin Houston deep. This is going to bounce inside the 5 and take a Memphis bounce. And they're gonna pin Houston deep inside their own territory. What a punt. The official spot would be Houston ball at about the 3, maybe the 4, with 11.5 to play. That's a perfect punt right there. It was like, again, like a 57-yard field goal is what that would have been, just about. I mean, even in the NFL, I say there's 5 kickers who I'm fully confident in sending out there to kick a 57-yarder as we head to a commercial break. Like, it's Tucker, it's Jake Elliott, it's Jake Bates, it's Boswell, if he's still kicking. I'm not sure if he has just retired or he has like a year or so left. But even then, Boswell is one of them. And then part of me wants to say Jason Sanders, but I know for damn sure if Miami tries a 57-yard field goal in an actual game next year, I'm going to be here saying, why the fuck are we doing it? It might be just 4. I mean, Daniel Carlson, maybe, but not fully. Brandon Aubrey would be the 5th. Yeah, Brandon Aubrey, Justin Tucker, Jake Elliott, Jake Bates, and Boswell. Yeah, anything over 50 is gonna be tough. But really, like, if you want to have like be a mainstay on the NFL roster, 55 and in is like you need to be confident from 55 and in consistently. I'm not saying you're expected to make from 55 and in. It's more so like 40 in, 45 in is where you gotta make sure you're damn near perfect from. But like if you're hitting 90% from 55 and in, that's really damn good. 85%, I'll even say it's like the minimum. And like again, there's a handful of kickers where they're probably kicking more so closer than 95. Yeah, it also does depend on stadium and where they're playing. Like in Denver, the amount of kickers I was sending out for a 55-yard kick goes up by like 10. Yeah, it definitely does depend on a lot of shit. As we're still at commercial break after it was a solid drive that Memphis was building there, but Houston's defense locked down as soon as they crossed midfield. Yeah, the commercials they've been showing for the UFL in the past few weeks, I want to say they should have shown during the NFL playoffs and before the season, because those are some damn good commercials showing past success stories. I think the best way to market this league is guys that have made it to the NFL through the UFL. So that way it gives new fans a frame of reference for shit. We have just coming back from commercial break as Jalen McClellan takes the field for Houston, and he's been all over the place since his college days. 7 different locations, made quite a few different starts. And again, he's been a shine of light for this Houston offense ever since coming in due to the injury to Nolan Henderson a few weeks back. He is in shotgun. 3 receivers to the right, a back lined up to his left. Gonna play action, look to throw. Pass left side's a wide open receiver, and that's gonna be a gain of roughly 9. Might have fought for 10 there, as that is, I believe, Kiki Chisholm on the reception. Yeah, McClellan has been damn good this season. If he can build off of it. Again, if Houston can get to 3-3 on the season, they're sitting really good as a team. McClellan alone in shotgun, looking to throw once again. Quick pass right side. That's going to be caught for a first down and a gain of roughly 5-ish. As that was Lawrence Keys on the reception. Yeah, he definitely. But again, it's like the Vipers, especially the Las Vegas Vipers. There wasn't a whole lot to take from that team. Even like I mean, I know Luis Perez played a little bit on the Vipers as well, but yeah, that team was a mess. McClendon going to hand this off up the middle on 1st and 10, and that's a gain of roughly three-ish for Zaquandre White. Yeah, like the Vipers were a mess. As much as I hate to admit it, the Guardians were a mess, both New York and Orlando. Tampa was a mess as well to deal with for spring football. It's like it's locations that in theory probably should have done better, but for one reason or another, the team just couldn't find like solid footing. 2nd and 7. McClendon under center going to hand this off once again up the middle for Zaquandre White, and he's going to stumble his way for a gain of 6. 3rd and 1 coming up for Houston. Again, they started this drive backed up inside their own 5, looking to get something out of this here. Already has been a successful drive, so you can punt this with plenty of breathing room. Yeah, 3rd and 1. McClendon is going to be in shotgun, trying to get this formation lined up. McClendon in shotgun, back to his right, 3 receiving options to the right as well. As McClendon is going to hand this off once again up the middle, and that's a 1st down carry for Zaquandre White, a gain of roughly 4. They keep this drive moving. Yeah, if the season didn't get cut short, I think we're talking about a completely different look for spring football right now. Either XFL dominance or a different style of UFL. But yeah, it's like that pre-COVID XFL 2.0 will always be special, I think. McClendon pass right side is going to be put on the money to Chisholm for a gain of roughly 3. Still a tight window throw there that he finds a way to fit in. Like early on in this UFO season, a lot of people have been referencing that XFL year. I remember I was right before it got cut short. I was talking about potentially going to a game in Tampa. McClendon from shotgun going to hand this off right side for Zaquandre White, and that's a gain of roughly 2. Yeah, Vince did have. Well, also it was at a point where it kind of did feel more like a college style of a league, where the defense was lagging behind the offense for a bit. And then now we get into the UFL. These teams have been established for a little bit longer, and there's more of an identity to this league. Its defense was dominating early on, but now we're seeing the offense take a step forward. Check down over the middle for McClendon to Zaquandre White's going to gain only about 4 when they needed 5. And now they have a decision to make here on 4th and short. With 7.5 to play in this one, yeah, it's going to be a 4th and 1. Like, I think you look at how this season has progressed. You can tell those first 2, maybe 2 and those first 2 weeks, maybe 3, was a lot more like a preseason. So Houston's gonna send this one down. Still, I would call that a successful drive for Houston. Yeah, I mean, you could probably say there's a talent disparity, but from what we've seen with some of these higher end teams in this year, I mean, I think I think talent is not really the biggest issue. I think it's just they needed time to get, because there's a lot of changing of quarterbacks this offseason for a lot of teams. So they just didn't have that proper game reps that a preseason would benefit from. But you can't really run a preseason in a spring football league, so. Yeah, the punt goes out the back of the end zone for a touchback. Memphis will begin from the 25. Again, 6:53 to play in this first quarter. Yeah, and expansion is going to be an interesting topic this offseason, as there were some reports about potential of it. Win from shotgun, going to hand this off right side for West Hills. That's a gain of 4, maybe 5. And solid opening plays to drives here. That's the big thing. Anthony Brown. Oh yeah, Anthony Brown's a listed backup. Okay. I think the hope is that Anthony Brown does not have to see the field today. Win and shotgun back to his right. Two receiving options to each side. He will look to throw once again. Pressure coming. Win. Sidearm throw right side is going to be incomplete, but he got it out there and it bounced off the hands. That would have been enough for a first down. There is a penalty marker down. That was a great throw from Dresser Win. God. I need this, even though it's probably not, even though it probably wasn't going to matter, I need to see a different angle of that throw. Are they going to call it defensive hold in here? Oh, hands to the face on Houston. Okay. So 5 yards, automatic first down for Memphis. Yeah, definitely longer seasons would bring better play, but the league just isn't at a spot right now to have those longer years. That is a fantastic throw from Dresser Win. Fallen backwards, sidearmed, and placed it on the money to Kai Loxley. He needs to hang on to that pass. That was a fantastic throw. Jeez. Win and shotgun back to his right. Three receiving options to the right as well. Passing right side for a little tight end screen action here. That's going to gain roughly 5. That is J.J. Wilson on the reception, I believe. Yep. Like, that was... Jeez. Again, Dresser Win has surprised me these past 2 weeks so far already. That was a... Cannot get over that throw. Win and shotgun back to his right. Two receiving options to each side for 2nd and 6 as he'll look to throw once again. Has time. Pass over the middle is behind and incomplete. Looking for J.J. Wilson once again, but again, throw this time a little bit behind. If it was more so on target, it might have been enough for the first down. Yeah, he might get a training camp invite for a team, but I think if Dresser Win continues to play like this the entire season, it would be more beneficial for him to stay another year in the UF in Memphis at least. Because if he can get a full season of tape in, that would be do wonders. Quick pass left side on 3rd and 6, going to be caught by West Hills, but a great tackle is going to minimize the gain to about 2, and it's a 4th down try coming up. That was Marvin Moody on the tackle there to save what could have been a large carry or a large pickup on 3rd instead. We have another punt. I mean, the difference, one of the big differences we're going to see between the 2020 XFL season and the UFL is most of the quarterbacks that will come through that punt nearly gets blocked, but comes off clean. Going to be fair caught at about the 21. Like in that original XFL season in 2020, we saw 2 quarterbacks end up getting proper starts in the NFL, in PJ Walker and Taylor Heineke. We probably won't see much of that through the UFL, but we're going to see quite a few of these guys eventually be like solid backups, I feel, as we head to a commercial break as well. And that's why it's like, weirdly enough, I think most of the 6th and 7th round quarterbacks that were just taken would probably more so benefit from a year in the UFL. Like, I know it's highly unlikely, one, given the quarterback situation in Cleveland, but 2, given like the high caliber of a personality that the Sanderses are. But if Shadur gets another year of tape out there in like a UFL, I think there'll be a lot more teams willing to take that stab at him than it was the case we saw in this past draft. So we're at commercial break, and there we go, showing a commercial for Game 7 between the Avalanche and the Stars. That's going to be a fantastic game. We definitely could see a modern Kurt Warner. But also the thing with Kurt Warner is his situation, and in fact, the way he was able to get the start in St. Louis was also an out of the ordinary kind of thing. Kurt Warner's story was, really enough, it was an American dream-esque story, and that's why it was like a perfect movie story. Well, yeah, definitely a chance for some Kurt Warners. Definitely a chance for, who was other. I know there was more that I'm just blanking on. I mean, if you want to count the original '80s USFL, then a Joe Theismann, a Jim Kelly, but those guys were also first round picks, so it's not the same way to apply. Man, again, Kurt Warner also came from the Arena Football League, so really his odds were less likely than if he played in an XFL in 2002 or the Spring Football League nowadays. As we're just coming back from commercial break, we get to see this Houston offense one more time with a little bit better starting field position here. All right, little interview there with CJ Johnson on the sideline talking about more so of a field position type battle game they would be fine to play. Yeah, definitely. Being able to get, because most backups do end up starting at least one game a season in the NFL. Obviously, it depends on the team you go to, but McLennan in shotgun going to hand this off up the middle for Shaquandre White, and that's going to be a gain of roughly 5. Again, both teams are able to start drives well. Yeah, couldn't rule it a gain of 6. I know it's early, but it's also the weekend. On the Astro, no. I'm really disappointed by this Houston crowd. All right, McLennan under center. Back behind him, 3 receiving options to the right, ball on the 29. McLennan is going to play action and look to throw. Has plenty of time. A pass left side to Shaquandre White will be enough for a first down and another pickup of about 6, maybe 7. It's, by this time last year, there was 3 players I was confident in on them getting at least a training camp invite. This year, I can't say the exact same thing, but there are a few guys where I'm like, if they can continue this, we'll hear their name in the preseason in the NFL. Yeah. McLennan to throw in first and 10, gonna pass this over the middle to, I believe that's Kurt Merritt. He's breaking off some defenders, breaks another tackle past midfield and still going. The 35 to 30, 25, and still bulldozing his way inside the 20. Kurt Merritt, big time reception there, and a big time yards after the catch. That's a former Miami Dolphin making plays once again. Just a simple check down and let Merritt do the rest. And he's one tough motherfucker to bring down, that's for sure. Really showcasing on that play. Good running. McLennan in shotgun back to his right, gonna give it to Merritt once again up the middle. And he's going to get to about the 23. They said that he stepped out of bounds to the 25 on that previous play. That's a good hard-nosed run in for Merritt after the catch. Yeah, the leash for quarterbacks in the NFL right now is a lot less than what it used to be, even 10 years ago. And that could definitely be beneficial for some of these guys, but it could also really hurt these guys as well, because the leash for a first round quarterback is like 3 years, 2 years maybe. For a guy coming from the UFL, it might be 2 games, 3 games. As McClellan's going to hand this off up the middle, and there's some room, and that's going to be a first down carrier, a gain of 8, and that's Zaquandre White on the carries. There's a Showboat slow to get up afterwards. That's Eli Walker, who's slow to get up. He's the only listed strong safety for the Showboats, but they do have Kyrie Woods, who can also step over and play that. Yeah, the idea of what have you done for me lately has definitely been exemplified in the NFL now. It's not like it's like when teams have turnover at the coaching staff in the front office, they expect him to fix the team immediately. When that's just not, yes, coach as well, but that's just not how, that's just not how a team should be built. Yeah, you might have a first overall pick one year, but you should not be thinking franchise quarterback when the rest of your team is not up to snuff. I'm always a big fan of building a team around a quarterback that you know you want. So that way, when you eventually and focus on a quarterback maybe 3 years down the line, you want to, because again, you want to maximize the rookie contract. So if you have a bunch of guys you'll be have to re-sign, have everyone re-sign the year you draft your quarterback and build that team for about a year or two before you get them. As the first down carrier for Zaquandre White will go for 2. We have about one more play needed before the end of the first quarter. Like, weirdly enough, if Chicago's doing fine, I think, but a team that really exemplifies how I feel like they should have, that could have been built differently and still be in a good spot is Tennessee. I think Tennessee built it kind of pretty darn well how they've done so far. As pass over the middle is caught, and that's a touchdown for Houston. They get on the board first. That is Justin Hall on the touchdown grab. And Houston strikes. 13-yard touchdown grab for Justin Hall. He was open over the middle. And that's a big-time play with about 30 seconds left in the first quarter. I think the Commanders will be fine this year. I think a lot of the games that they were able to win last year are gonna be losses this year because you're just not gonna get that same luck, especially against especially that Chicago game they played last year. We'll see. The 1-point try from the 2 is a handoff up the middle that goes in untouched. It is a 7-point lead for the Roughnecks as Kurt Merritt caps off the drive with a point. And that's a great way to end the first quarter. Yeah, you have the slot tight end clear out that safety over the middle, and Hall fills in. That's a great play call. All right, Houston, I see you. Really solid drive there. We'll see how Memphis can respond on the next one. But I going back to it quick. I really like how Tennessee has built their team. They spend Brian Callahan's first year building the offensive line a bit, building a running back room, and trying to find a good receiving core. And now they have their quarterback. So it's a nicely built team. Yeah, I think Washington will probably make the playoffs again, but I don't think they're going to be, what were they, a 12-win team last year? I think they're going to have a little bit of a downgrade just because of they're not going to have the same luck in one-score games. Yeah, McClellan so far today, after one quarter, 7 for 7 and a touchdown. He's playing smart, and that's the key thing. As kickoff underway, going to be returned beginning from about the 7. And with some room, that is going to be a return that gets up to about the 30. I think 6-11 is understating the Commanders. I think they'll be above 500 and at least be in the playoff hunt. I know their opponents isn't the easiest this year, but I still think they'll be just fine. Like, because my main thing, I had I had the same worry with Minnesota right after they lost to the Giants in the playoffs. As this movement up front before this snap gonna be a false start on Memphis. Because like in 2022, the Vikings were like what 7-2, 9-0 or something in one score games, and like the next year, yeah, you're not gonna have that great of a season anymore. Oh, Tennessee, yeah, Tennessee a 6-win team wouldn't be that bad. Way to get a play action, look to throw in 1st and 15. Has time, pass over the middle is incomplete. Dangerous pass, kind of a hospital pass there. Looking for D. Anderson, but he takes a hit when that ball comes loose. I mean, I think Brian Callahan is safe for at least 2 years. I think he has this year and next year. Now that they have their quarterback, that now the pressure is on for them as we're going to head to a commercial break for the end of the first quarter. Like, I think Callahan will be fine. But I was more so. It's more so, I think the pressure on Tennessee is just showing signs of improvement instead of like getting a drastic jump. Because they won. They won, yeah, they won 3 games last year. So yeah, a 3-win improvement wouldn't be terrible for them. But like the biggest thing with Tennessee last year is they lost 2 games to begin that season last year because of mistakes Will Levis made. And in one-score games, yeah, they were like 1-6, 1-5, 1-6 in one-score games. Oh yeah, yeah. If Cam Ward goes 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, that's perfect. That's exactly what they're hoping for, I think. And the 1-to-1 ratio, yeah, 1-to-1 ratio is not great, but it's not terrible either. You're definitely hoping for more so, yeah, that 2010. A 1-to-1 ratio is like Jameis Winston, which again, you can definitely have success with a Jameis Winston like quarterback. It's just you need a great defense on the back end. 22-21. Yeah, that's not great. But yeah, like, you can still have a solid season with that if your defense is good on the back end. And again, the best year that exemplifies it, like Tampa went 7-9 during Jameis Winston's 30-30 season. That's a solid record considering he threw 30 interceptions, but that was also the Bruce Arians offense. Yeah, going back to like Washington. Yeah, so Washington played in 10 one-score games last year, and in those they went like 7-3. Like their luck in one-score games is going to shift for sure. But also like I if they're like 5-5 in one-score games next year, that's still solid. But Washington's definitely gonna have a lot to live up to. As we're just coming back from commercial break, it's 2nd and 15. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we saw with Tampa a lot during Winston's tenure there and then Bruce Arians' tenure. But like You still don't want it, but it's not like the end of the world. Win and shotgun gonna hand this off up the middle for Deneric Prince, and that's a gain of about a yard. Like, I mean, like, obviously, like, an ideal QB season is like any of Rodgers' final 2 MVP years, where he's like 30-4. But like, that's just unrealistic. So yeah, definitely like 2010 is what you're hoping for. A 3rd and 14 from Memphis. Win and shotgun back to his left. 3 receiving options to the right. So he'll look to throw. Has some time. Gonna throw it right side. Caught by Wilson. And going to break 1 tackle and gonna lose about a yard. Or actually, that was Chris Pierce on the reception. The backup tight end. But still, yeah. Nonetheless, not much going there. It's a 3 and out for this Memphis offense. And that's not how you want to respond after giving up a touchdown. That's for damn sure. Man, it hasn't been a terrible game for Memphis yet. Oh, the punt gets blocked. The first block punt of the season is going to go out of bounds near the plus 40. I think they're going to say the plus 36. Punt gets blocked. And Houston's going to have some great starting field position. Barely gets a hand on that one. Good shit. Who? The 18? Was that real? No, I don't know. Let me get that jersey. But I believe that was Emmanuel Butler who got a hand on that punt. Either way, that's some great starting field position coming up. And yeah, Houston getting some lucky bounces here. Can they capitalize on it? Ball is going to be on the plus 35 as McClendon alone in shotgun. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. McClendon going to look to throw. Quick pass right side. That's caught for a gain of roughly 5. And that was Lorenzo Lingard on the reception. That a running back lined up out wide there, and it worked. Officially ruling a gain of 6, probably more so like 5.5. As McClendon in shotgun, back to his right, 2 receiving options to each side. Get a quick throw left side for a bubble screen. That goes nowhere. Looking for Justin Hall. But he gets blown up by Mark Gilbert. Read that screen like a bug. Yeah, RPO bubble. Did not work. They lose about 3 on that play. Good heads up defense there. That's a play that they needed to make. See if you're going to force a long field goal try here. As it's 3rd and 6 now. McClendon in shotgun. Back to his right. 2 receivers to each side. As he'll look to throw once again. Flag down. Pass over the middle is tipped and incomplete. Trying to fit that into Kurt Merritt, but he couldn't hang on. Pass was a little high. What is the penalty marker, though? That's the question. Yeah, McClendon's throwing well, and even that pass there that ended up being incomplete probably should have been caught. It's illegal formation on Houston. The penalty will be declined. It's 4th and 6. So now that is officially McClendon's first incompletion on the day. But because of the blocked punt, even his 3 and out is still looking really good for Houston as they send out Chris Blewett. Chris Blewett on to make it this a 10-point game. He has a season long of 44. This from 49. And the left hash will be the new season long. Kick is up. And it is good. It's a 10-point Houston lead with 12 minutes to play in the first half. Chris Blewett sets a new season long. So the blocked punt, although leads to a 3-and-out, it still leads to some points, as Houston now has a 2-possession lead and are sitting in pretty firm control of this game as we head to the commercial break. A new Mission Impossible that's coming out soon. We'll see. I mean, it's hard to really say that Houston's in firm control because Memphis has had some solid drives, some solid plays, but they're just beating themselves at the tail end of them. Some penalties, the holding call on the opening play of the game messed them up completely. But we'll see. And we shall see. Oh yeah, the Panthers are out there practicing right now. Because yeah, Monday night is when the second round begins in the NHL playoffs, and it begins with the Panthers against the Maple Leafs, and what's going to be an interesting series for damn sure. That's an interesting second line for practice today. What is missing from? So that commercial break here in this one. Like we're just getting back to commercial break. As again, Houston with a win today can potentially be tied for second place in the USFL conference alongside Michigan or Birmingham, depending on the outcome of those games. So it's about to get real interesting in the USFL conference after today, one way or another. Because even then, if Memphis can start getting hot, if they can start getting hot, I think they're still feeling good. Kickoff underway, going to be returned beginning from about the 5. Has some room and going to spin his way to about the 30, maybe the 31. We'll start the drive from there. I don't know if that is a return man that's not listed on the roster as a return man. Dresser wins a Blackstone Grill type of dude. Okay. As Win in shotgun, back behind him, 2 receiving options to his 2 receivers to each side. Gonna send one of them in motion right to left as they hand this off up the middle for hand this off up the middle for West Hills, and that's a gain of 10. Dragging alongside a Roughneck there to pick up those 10 yards. As Win in shotgun back to his left, will hand this off to West Hills once again. And once again, a pretty solid carry that goes for about 6-ish. I mean, if they can keep it on the ground and do this consistently, I think they're fine. Is when they start going through the air that Wynn needs to, I want to say make smarter decisions, but put it more so on the money. As it's about a 2nd and 4. Wynn in shotgun, going to hand this off once again up the middle for Hills, and that's a gain of a yard. And there's a penalty marker down now as well. I didn't see what the penalty was. Yeah, just under 11 minutes to play in this first half. Wynn and shotgun, a back to each side. It is 1st and 10. Ball past midfield at the 48 after what I believe was an offsides penalty. As he's going to hand this off once again to Wes Hills, and he's going to fight his way for a gain of a yard. David Bellamy was in the backfield there to make that tackle. Yeah, definitely. And that definitely is probably what has impacted Memphis this season was the constant changing of coaches early on. As Wynn will look to throw on 2nd and 9, pass over the middle to a wide open receiver is caught and going to work his way up past the first down marker and then some. A good reception there by Isaiah Washington to keep the chains moving and staying ahead of the sticks and that was a gain of 12-ish. But they had going from Jim Turner week 1, Ken Weisenhunt in 2 and 3, and then back to Turner in week 4. Definitely has not helped this team, but I think they're finding a groove now as well, which is a good thing. And going to try a double reverse here on 1st and 10, and Jonathan Adams has room to run past the first down marker and then some past the 20 and inside the 20 to the 19. We had Dresser Wynn lead blocking for that double reverse and plenty of space down that left side. And it was D. Anderson who couldn't lay a proper block there. If he was able to push that corner out of bounds more, Jonathan Adams might have been gone. But instead, you get ball in the 20 to rule in it, so Memphis has still technically entered the red zone for the first time today. As Wynn in shotgun back to his left, two receiving options to each side. In a play action, look to throw, pass right side is batted away at the line and incomplete. See, that was Leon O'Neal with the pressure up the middle and getting a hand on that ball. Leon O'Neal has been a great player for this Houston defense all year, and that makes a great play on that one, because if that ball gets out there, there's some separation on that glance. Might have been a touchdown for Memphis, but instead it's a 2nd and 10 with 8.5 to play in this first half. Just don't make a dumb mistake. You can get points on the board here. Wynn in shotgun looking to throw once again. Has some time. Pass left side, going back shoulder, and what a grab! D. Anderson going over the top and stealing that one from the defender. And there was a penalty marker down as well. But what a play by D. Anderson. Talk about a head top there. This better not be against him. Oh, it's illegal man downfield. Oh, no. That was such a good grab by Anderson. Really. Like, that was an insane catch. And now it's 2nd and 15 with 8:20 to play. Who are they saying was downfield? Mike Pierre is taking a look at this. Who are they saying is illegally downfield? Line of scrimmage is at the 20. I see. I mean, I think that's a lineman there, but he's still like you get 3 yards. You get 3 yards of room, and this ball gets released. This ball gets released when he's at like the 21, when he's at the 18 and a half. So he still has like a yard and a half of room there, because you get 3 yards. As his college style. Yeah, this play's gonna count. It's just a simple mistake between the way that the UFL does it, which is more so college style, and how the NFL does it, where you get a yard of room, that's it. In UFL, UFL offensive linemen get 3 yards, and yeah, that lineman was definitely behind where he needed to be there. So the amazing grab from D. Anderson is gonna stand. That's an incredible catch. Like, yeah, now knowing that it's not going to be a penalty, because the only question is, did he get his feet in? Yep, they picked up the penalty. Good shit. So yeah, D. Anderson makes a great catch on that play. It's now 1st and goal for Memphis from inside the 5 at the 3. And he goes up with one hand. He steals that ball from the chest of Rashad Williams. He just stole that ball, and he kept his feet in. That's a hell of a play by D. Anderson. Now 1st and goal. Win and shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving options to the right as well. Handoff. West Hills up the middle. And it's going to be a gain of only about, you could say a gain of a yard, might have been 2. Nonetheless, going to be 2nd and goal coming up. Under 8 minutes now to play. And Memphis going a little bit of hurry up here. Yeah, D. Anderson, he's really taking a step this season in a more prominent role for this offense. And him and Dresser Wing got a good connection there going. As there is a Roughnecks slow to get up after that previous play. It is Xavier Benson. He's going to be heading towards the sideline now under his own power, so hope all is well there. As it is 2nd and goal from the 2. $7:44 to play in this first half. Memphis looking to get on the board for the first time today. In what has been by far their best drive of this game so far. As Win and shotgun back behind him. Gonna play action, look to throw, rolling to his right, pass in end zone, wide open, touchdown Memphis. J.J. Wilson in the back corner of the end zone. They are only down by 4. Great play call there. Get a little naked bootleg out to that right side, and J.J. Wilson just wide open in the back corner of the end zone. The Auburn alum puts Memphis on the board first. For the first time today. Yeah, that was a drive that this game as a whole needed. As with under 7.5 to play in the first half, we now have ourselves a 1-score game once again. And Memphis will go for 2 from the 5. Win and shotgun, a back to each side. Trying to make this a 2-point game. Win with some time. Now looking past an end zone, tipped and incomplete. Trying to squeeze one in there to Kyle Loxley, but a great play keeps this a 4-point Houston lead as they're about to get the ball back. Again, Houston also gets ball to begin the second half, so they have a great chance here to begin the process of running away with this one. But that's a great throw by Win. Great throw, wide open in the back corner. Good play call. As with 7:26 to play in this first half, we're going to head to a commercial break. And we'll see as we have commercial break. Yeah, we shall see. Yeah, both teams have had one really great drive in this one so far, and a lot of solid drives, and then like one not so great. I think Memphis's defense might have saved the game by holding Houston to that field goal after the block punt. If Houston was able to find the end zone and make this a 13-14 plus point game, is a lot different of a story in this one. It is still early on in the stands. One score game, we'll see. Yeah, both sides are moving the ball pretty well. Not a lot of 3 and outs, so it makes the game more interesting because it feels like any drive could be a breakaway one, like we just saw there from Memphis. But at the same time, it's like that. I'm trying to say here. At the same time, it now makes it so every following 3 and out is gonna have that much more of a say in this game. Like just like the 3 and out Memphis forced after the block punt. I mean, if you're able to force that 3 and out and be able to play that field position battle a bit better, you're gonna have a more of an advantage. Which is obvious, but like between these two teams, you wouldn't expect a game that would come down to can the defenses make a stand. You more so be expecting can the offenses break through or be consistent with it. As we're just coming back from commercial break, kickoff underway. This will be return beginning from inside the 5 at about the 2. And this camp can hurdle his way to about the 20, maybe the 21. That cameraman did not know what he was doing there. Lawrence Keys on the return. There's 7:20 to play in this one. If Houston can make this a drive like they have been they've been able to most of this game, if they can just have a drive and get back to playing that field position battle, they get ball to begin the second half, so they're not really in a rush here to do anything. McClellan under center, back behind him 3, receiving options to the left, as there's going to be a timeout called by Houston before the snap. As the clock now continues to run as well. Why is the clock running? They call a timeout. Why? ESPN, what do you do? Yeah, that play action offense for Houston has been working well again. McClellan being smart, taking the check down options has also worked wonders for them. They've allowed their playmakers to just do just that and make some good plays. Not making it too complicated, keeping things in front of McClellan. What is going on with the ESPN broadcast? McLennan under center, back behind him, two receiving options to each side. Going to hand this off up the middle, and there's some room for a gain of roughly 4. Might say 4.5 there. As that's Kurt Merritt on the carry, but he's slow to get up. Yeah, Kurt Merritt's slow to get up. He just recently got back from another injury as well, and he suffered a bad injury last year. So Merritt going down again. Man, that's unfortunate. I'm gonna point out first, second there, ESPN's clock on the scoreboard said 47 seconds left in the half. I don't know what's going on with it. All right, 7:06 to play in the half. Second and 6 coming up for Houston. As Merritt has gotten up and is walking off the field under his own power. Good to see that. Oh, also for Memphis. Okay, he's inactive today. But Dawood Davis is expected to be back for Memphis at some point this season. That would be a great addition for their receiving room. As he was a key weapon for them last year. McLennan in shotgun, back to his left, two receiving options to each side will look to throw. Pressure coming, dump off right side for Shaquandre White for a running back screen. Gonna get blown up and lose about 4. Just nothing going there. I don't love the idea of calling a halfback screen there, but yeah, nowhere to go. Memphis played that really well, and now is a 3rd and long coming up, a 3rd and 10. But the stark difference from St. Louis and the Dome compared to what we're seeing here with the Roughnecks in Houston, like marketing needs to be so much better next year for the UFL. McLennan to throw on 3rd and 10. Has time. Launch one deep left side, and that's overthrown and incomplete. Looking for Justin Hall. That's a big time 3-and-out forced by Memphis. Gives their offense a shot to take the lead. As we have about 6 minutes to play until halftime. Yeah, 5:45 to play in the half. Hunt comes off clean, going to be returned beginning from the 32-ish. And Isaiah Henney's going to get up to about the, 37? So a pretty solid return there. Yeah, 1st and 10 from the 37. Yeah, 5.5 to play in the first half. They're interviewing Boogie Roberts on the sideline, the D tackle for Memphis, who has made some great plays this season. As we will wait for the start of this Memphis drive. Wynn in shotgun back to his right, 3 receiving options to the right as well. As Wynn will begin this drive with a handoff left side that's going to lose 2 yards on the play. Nothing going there for Deneric Prince. As it's a 2nd and 12 coming up. As now Win and shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the right will look to throw on 2nd and 12. Pressure coming. Pass left side. Caught by Prince. Gonna spin his way for a gain of 5. Damn. Yeah, I mean, some sports, especially the time of year, also can depend on how popular a sport can do. But like, I just feel like Houston should be able to get more than what they're showing today, especially with how hot they've been. Houston having very little people in the stands when there's no competition in the area is disappointing. As Wynn will throw on 3rd and 7, pass left side caught by Prince, has plenty of room to run and blockers. That's a first down and a whole lot more. Past midfield to about the, was that 45-ish? No, it seems to get past midfield to maybe about the 39. That's how you run a halfback screen there. Plenty of open space for Deneric Prince. Good running. And yeah, gets up to about the 39 with a penalty marker down. That's going to be on Houston, so tack on to the end of that one. I was saying personal foul. So Memphis, well in the field goal range. And yeah, personal foul on Rashad Williams. Sets Memphis up with some great field position as he continued this drive. Ball now on 24. Like we saw last night, just how powerful St. Louis as a sports city is. Like they had 72,000 people combined show out to the Cardinals, the Blues, and the Battlehawks. That's a great single day showing for the city. Pass left side on 1st and 10 is going to be caught, and that's a gain of roughly 4, as that is D. Anderson on the reception. And like Houston is also a fantastic sports city. And I know tomorrow they're hosting Game 7 between them and the Warriors, but still, as for today, there's no competition in games in Houston. Definitely feels like they should have gotten a better attendance. I think it's starting to fill up a bit as we get closer to halftime, but still doesn't look great. Wade and shotgun back behind him, 2 receivers to each side, under 3.5 to play in this first half. Gonna hand off to Prince left side, has some room, first down and more. Inside the 10 and out of bounds near the 8. First and goal for the Showboats. Right, once again, they've reached inside the 10 on back-to-back drives. Slow start, but they have since found their rhythm in this second quarter, and again, looking to take this lead before the half. Yeah, some places are just like that, and St. Louis is definitely one of those cities. It's why they deserve to have an NFL team back. But like, I feel like Houston is one of those cities as well, so I don't get it. Winning shotgun, gonna keep it himself right side in the read option, has room, and that's a touchdown run for Dresser Wynn. 8-yard touchdown, and the Showboats have taken a 2-point lead with 2:46 to play in the half. Okay, Wynn. Use your legs a bit there. Was not expecting that. A 9-yard touchdown run. Excuse me, I tried to short you on the yard. That's a big-time play for Memphis. Taking the lead before the half. A fantastic drive once again. And now what's the choice here? Probably can just go for 1, right? Yeah, they can go for 2. Win and shotgun, the back to each side. The 2-point try from the 5. You're trying to take a 4-point lead. As Wynn will look to throw. Houston sends 4. Wynn with time. Pass over the middle, back of the end zone. And that is caught by Jonathan Adams. 4-point Memphis lead as we slowly approach halftime with 2:46 to play. How will Houston respond? Yeah, tale of 2 quarters for sure, definitely. At least so far. It's Dresser to win, man. He's just he was a desperately needed spark for this Memphis team. He's been playing really well, and this team has rallied with him. What a throw in the back of the end zone. Okay, it's being nitpicky when I'm about to say this, but a little bit behind. But still a great throw back in the end zone, and Memphis has a 4-point lead. Yeah, Dresser win. Playing pretty well. 14 unanswered by Memphis on back-to-back drives. Yeah, it was 3 for 3, but to be fair, a part of that was like a 40-plus yard halfback screen on a crucial third down. As kickoff underway, going to be returned beginning from about the 13, and going to get break one tackle there and going to work his way, trying to flip this right side, and eventually brought down near the 28. Well, it was like a 30-yard screenplay, but you tack on the 15 afterwards for the personal foul. Yeah, I mean, that was a great drive for Memphis. Again, 14 unanswered in this one. Feels like the tide's about to shift here. So McLennan in shotgun back to his right. 2 receivers to each side. As McLennan will look to throw. Pressure coming quick up the middle and sacked. Back near the 20-yard line. Untouched Andrew Dowell makes a big-time play for this Memphis defense. He was just, unblocked. Straight into the backfield. I don't know what the protection was there. Seemed like they shifted that line heavy to the right, and Dowell just filled in the space. McLennan now would throw on 2nd and 17. Quick pass over the middle is dropped. Incomplete. Looking for Josh Peterson, the son of former Philadelphia Eagles head coach and current Jacksonville Jaguars head coach, Doug Peterson. As you can't be dropping that ball in that situation. As we head to the 2-minute warning, what was looking all Houston has now been looking all Memphis very quickly. With 14 unanswered, they have a 4-point lead with 2 minutes to play till the half. But Houston does get ball to begin the second half. So that's a plus that they have. Would like for them to score here before, but a 3rd and 17 is going to be tough to convert. I could see it. We're at 24 right now. If Houston or if Houston or Memphis scores again before the half, I could see it. But I think over 40 is gonna be tough for this one. But we'll see. I mean, again, 24 points in the half was not what I was expecting between these two teams. So we'll see. It definitely does feel like both teams have found their style. We shall see. Yeah, definitely, especially Memphis. They look like that they're finding a really nice groove right now, and that they're gonna score again. It also does feel like that Memphis might need to score once more in order to secure this win. As Houston's not gonna go down without a fight. I mean, I think this end of this these final 2 minutes in the half are gonna go a long way in deciding this one. If Memphis can score again, if DC can try and grab some momentum before the half, either with a big time stand, some points, just finding a way is a key thing. Like which team is gonna be riding hot entering the half. I hate that I'm still talking about this. There's really no need for me. But yeah, this stadium, man, it's a great stadium, but it's not. The Roughnecks just can't fill it. I do much prefer them playing here than at Rice. That's for damn sure. McClellan alone in shotgun will look to throw in 3rd and 17. Pressure coming, will step to his left. Pass left side's caught by Justin Hall. Breaks 2 tackles, breaks a third. Still going, diving forward and stretching. What's the spot? There are multiple penalty flags down. But Justin Hall might have just gotten a big time first down conversion, dependent on the penalties. Oh, they're going to say offensive pass interference. Yeah, offensive pass interference. You're going to replay 3rd down. Calling it on Zaquandre White. That's... Oh, man. What was a fantastic 3rd and 17 play. That's a drive killer. And now you're heavy backed up. You need to get at least half. You want to get past the 20 just to give your punter some room. As now is a 3rd and 27. With a minute 50 to play in the first half. McClellan in shotgun back to his right. 2 receivers to each side, I believe. As McClellan will look to throw. Has time, a dump off right side to White will be caught and going to get tripped up at the 21-yard line. Not enough for the first down. And out comes the punting unit for what was effectively a 3 and out. This Memphis defense has really locked in and have played some great defense in this second half of the second quarter. The offense has played complementary with that, having the 14 unanswered. Yeah, Memphis is riding hot with this game. Again, the big thing will be how does Memphis end this half here, as they're going to call their first timeout. Looking to get the ball back here with plenty of time to let the offense work. There's a minute 43 left in this half. ESPN does not, for as much as I prefer the ESPN/ABC broadcasts, they are struggling getting this game clock working properly. The ball on the 21. Mike Rivers is preparing to send this one down. Punt comes off clean, looking to flip the field here. Punt will be returned beginning from about the 26, and as Isaiah Henney, who is going to work his way backwards before finally being brought down near the 27, ends up getting a yard in that return, but he was about 5 yards backwards at one point. Minute and a half to play in this first half. Isaiah Henney is a dangerous return man, so the fact that they were even comfortable punting it his way is shocking. ESPN back when the XFL 2.0 back in 2020. ESPN's broadcast package was beautiful. It's still better than Fox's, as Fox is using like a 3-generation old broadcast package for the UFL. Pass over the middle on 1st and 10 will be caught by D. Anderson, and caught by D. Anderson, and he'll push the pile for about an extra 4 or 5 yards. So make it a gain of 11, as there's pushing and shoving going on post play here. You'll be like, Fox's broadcast package is from like 8 years ago for the UFL now. So like I much prefer what ESPN has going here than what Fox does. As Wynn will look to throw on 1st and 10, pass over the middle, caught by Anderson once again, and that's a gain of about 7. A minute to play in this first half. Looking to at least get in the field goal range here. Wynn in shotgun back to his left, 2 receivers to each side. Ball on the 45-yard line. Need about 15 yards ish. As Wynn will look to throw once again. Quick pass right side, caught by Kwame Lassiter, and going to get about 5, maybe 6. And with 43 seconds to play in the half, the clock stops for a moment. Oh, is ESPN Plus one bad? But yeah, that is also just ESPN Plus as a whole. I mean, I'm not a big fan of streaming services for sports games. Win to throw in 1st and 10, step into his right, passing back left, an incomplete pass was just off the mark. Looking for Isaiah Washington, but he would have had space to run. It's dangerous to throw, but it's dangerous to throw across your body like that. 23 seconds now to play in the half. Like, I say I'm not a big fan of streaming services for sporting events. I'm completely going to be hypocritical here. Amazon's broadcasts for the NBA next year looks really good so far from what we've seen about it. As pass left side going to be incomplete, looking for Jonathan Adams. Hit while throwing that one and still nearly got it out there. Yeah, I know Netflix did something similar to that, where they did a no commercial type of broadcast for, I want to say it was Chiefs Chargers a few years back in the fourth quarter. I am personally a fan of seeing like the in between plays and the in between drive stuff, but I understand why the majority of people who are watching at home aren't a fan of it. As Wynn would throw on 3rd and 10, pass right side caught by Isaiah Washington, and going to be brought down for a gain of roughly 5. As the clock continues to run here, you're going to have to call a timeout if you want one more play. Yep, there we go. Timeout called by Memphis with 6 seconds to play in the half. Gonna have to go for it all, probably. A Hail Mary. You're not going to send out the field goal unit here. I know Coughlin can hit from 70. I saw that practice clip as well, but it's a vastly different situation. All right, they send out Matt Coughlin. His season long is 52. This is close to 70. Okay, here's the thing. You have 9 seconds. You have enough time to run one more play. You get the first down. You're in a much better field goal range. You have a timeout as well. Keep the offense on the field and run one more play. And it seems like that's what they're going to do. You have the one more timeout. Try and get better field goal range. If you fail here, you force Houston to go for like a 60-plus yard play. They send out the punting unit? I don't get this. I would have just gone for it on 4th. Because if you convert, you get the field goal out of the drive. If you don't, you're forcing a 56-yard play from Houston. All right, but they're going to send this one down. And punt gets blocked again. It's blocked again, but it's still going to take a massive Memphis bounce. And going to be pinned inside the 5 at the 3. Ended up being a great punt that will send us to halftime, but they took a risk and nearly got blocked. So Houston gets ball to begin the second half. It is a 4-point Memphis lead. Yeah, that's definitely not great. I mean, again, I'm not a massive fan of streaming services for games anyway. I understand why. Again, like for you, like it's great that they have the option to be able to watch the game that way. But for me, it's just like I would rather than put this ABC broadcast on like a generic ESPN channel that's like available, like ESPN U or some other random shit as like a secondary option for international. But again, any way eyes can get on the game, it's fine. It's more so like as long as they have the option for it to be either the channel it's on or the streaming service. When it gets to the point where it's only on the streaming service, I lose interest. And that's why like I'm not a big fan of the Netflix Christmas games. Was it better with it? Yeah. I just think the XFL as a whole was a better not project. Not project. Why am I blanking on it now? Yeah, better project. I am blanking on the word now. But yeah, the XFL is definitely a better show win as a league. I'm upset that I'm blanking on this word. Is it project? Whatever. The XFL is definitely a better. It's not project. Why am I? We're at commercial break for halftime. I'm able to take my time thinking about this word. It could also just be a Disney thing at this point because I mean, first I'm not a big fan of Disney as a whole. I tolerate them because they do some adaptations that I like for book series and shit, and like the MCU was solid for a point. But yeah, like, I'm not you wouldn't catch me at a Disney park or anything like that. Like it's at the point where you just have to tolerate Disney, if anything. I'm upset that I'm blanking at this word. Yeah, I definitely do prefer because like the XFL, the colors and the branding of the XFL was also a lot better. Like the blue and red fit better on a broadcast package than just the black and white coloring. It does, it really does. Bad management does have a way of trickling down, and it sucks. I mean, we see that with sports teams as well. Like, look at the back half of the MLB. Look at like the Cowboys or the Jets. Really look at the Jets. Look at Washington. In a year from the removal of Dan Snyder to the bringing in of Josh Harris as the owner, they have drastically improved that team. Again going back. It's like the USFL and the XFL both had colorful brandings in terms of their logo, in terms of the league logo, and the way that they broadcasted the league. Why? How come when they merge, we get this very generic black and white branding for the league in the UFL, and not like a nice mixture of colors? And it's like, why? It makes no sense. Yeah, that is what the Titans are trying to improve. But it's a lot tougher for improvements when you're going from GM to GM and coach to coach compared to owner changes. It's like look at Chicago for example. The way they look for head coaches and GMs, it does not work. Which hopefully it changes now with Ben Johnson. But for years, it was the same old thing year in, year out. System did not work, but they kept doing it. And it's just this weird committee of people that like half of them don't know a lot about football, but they still have a massive say in what's going on. It doesn't make sense. I do think this is going to be a good turnaround now, though, because Ben Johnson, I feel, is going to be a great coach in the NFL. But it's definitely a point of just like, it's going to be interesting to see how different it is. And DC sits alone on top of the XFL conference. St. Louis had a big win last night. Yeah. It's one of those things where for as much as I say that consistency at coaching and at coaching and front office positions is important to building a team, it does get to a point where they've shown all that, where that front office has shown all that they need to. To where it's like, at some point, you gotta just cut your losses. And I mean, they talk about Miami when I'm saying that. It's like, yeah, you're giving Greer another offseason, maybe two. He should have been gone well before. Like in 2019, when Adam Gase was fired, that's when Greer should have been fired as well. And then you enter the rebuild with Flores and a different GM that are on the same page, that can build the team to how they view it. But then you have Greer and Flores who are not on the same page with how to build a team, and you get all of the other chaos that has since followed suit. And that's why it's like that's why I feel like Tennessee's in a pretty good spot. Is that it seems like they have a GM and a head coach and they're on the same page, and they have done the process of building a team in a way I like a team to be built when you're entering a rebuild. Whereas you accept you're going to be bad for a year and build everything else. That way, for when the quarterback does come, you already have a solid team in place. It's like the Jets should have realized this in the same way that Tennessee has done it. If the Jets admitted to being bad last year and fully committed to it and parted ways with Rodgers, and they just said, we're going to be bad, Salah's going to be gone after the year, but we have a really nicely built team for whoever we bring in the following offseason. Which they can have Justin Fields now, so we'll see if that works. But he's not on that rookie contract that benefits so many teams. Which, for as much as I do like what Justin Fields showed in Pittsburgh last year, I feel like it was a little bit of an overpay. Yeah, and I know a lot of Tennessee fans weren't happy about Vrabel moving on and departing ways there. I was confused about it as well. I do think it makes sense and was just the nature of things at that point with the Titans, as you peak in 2019 really, because 2020, although you're the one seed, you get bounced instantly. You peak there and the team just slowly declined since. So it's like it was time, and Brian Callahan, I think he's a good offensive mind that can build the Titans back in a similar way to where they found their most success in the early 2000s, where you had, like, again, Tennessee's running room it's not like one that flashes out the page, but I do still like what the skill positions Tennessee has. Like, I'm a massive fan of Tajay Spears. I think Tony Pollard is going to be just fine as a 1B over there once Spears breaks out. Yeah, it does. Yeah, Vrabel did do a great job developing players, and that's why, like, for as much as him coaching New England is probably going to work, it's going to be a limited time of success in New England, just because you have the pieces, yes, but can you develop those pieces, especially on the offensive side of the ball? I have no issue with Vrabel developing players defensively because he's that defensive minded guy. It's going to be an easier time for him. I do worry a little bit for Drake May as well. I think we're gonna see. I worry for Drake May, but not because I feel like he's gonna be the reason behind the Patriots' lack of success. I worry for him because he's gonna have success, and the defense is gonna be because it's back. It's just back to that Belichick way. Like, it's gonna be a very defensive heavy team that's gonna win the games because of the defense, and Drake May is going to have it in his head that he's able to do whatever he wants because the defense will have him on the back end, and we're gonna see him go with that the second and third year Mac Jones, Jameis Winston type of path, which he really shouldn't. There's no need for Drake May to play that way, but he's probably going to. Now, I don't remember who the Patriots hired as offensive coordinator. And that obviously would definitely change how I view things. Let me look that up real quick. He was the offensive coordinator. They really brought back Josh McDaniels? Okay, my worry for May is definitely a little less, but it's still there. Josh McDaniels is a solid offensive coordinator. I mean, Mac Jones had his really good rookie season because of Josh McDaniels and his offense. Do I think things will probably be, I wouldn't say fine, but things will be better looking for New England offensively? McDaniels is going to make things easy for May. But at some point, you're going to need May to just make a superstar play, and I'm not sure he'll be able to. As we're just coming back from halftime. He's hiring, yeah. But like with New England, it's the difference with New England is you're not gonna be strapped for people wanting to coach in New England. The same way you might have had that issue with Tennessee. Daniels is the OC. Is this the same? Yeah, Thomas Brown was brought in as a tight ends coach. He was the interim in Chicago last year. Doug Marone's online. Okay. Yeah, it's not a terrible coaching staff on the offense. Defense is a little bit of a different story. Why is Ben McAdoo back? It's definitely definitely not a bad coaching staff that they have, but it's definitely not like one that jumps out the page. Yeah, and that's why he was brought in for New England, is because they need that Belichick style again. Or at least Kraft views it that way. I don't think they need the Belichick style. I think they need to kind of, modernize the team. But I doubt they will. New England is still, I want to say they're living in the past. But when you have one very specific way for 20 years, and it has had massive success over those 20 years, then you're definitely going to kind of force it to remain that way, at least in some capacity. I do think there is some hope of, I don't want to say modernizing, but some hope of like shifting the culture. But again, it's like it's still the Patriot way at the end of the day. That's the bottom line, especially when you keep bringing in Belichick disciples. The bottom line is going to be always Patriot way, Patriot way, Patriot way. Even if the offense appears more modern, the defense appears more modern, in the locker room, it's Patriot way, and it's not going to work the same. As the second half kickoff is underway, going to be returned beginning from the 10. And as Kurt Merritt on the return, going to break some tackles and find his way to about the 24 before being brought down. We'll see what Jalen McClellan can do on this drive. There is a penalty marker down as well. Yes. Yeah, when as soon as the UFL season ends, that's when I'm gonna begin like the off-season recaps and the season previews for the NFL teams. So I'll look a lot more deeper into stuff then, as it's blocking the back penalty on Houston here. Yeah, I mean, what? Who's another team that had a massive shift in culture recently? Has had success out of it. Kansas City, kind of. I wouldn't really say they were a massive shift in culture though, because they went from Andy Reid's just also that kind of same older style. Handoff up the middle for the first play of the drive and a half is going to be a gain of 3. Yeah, who is? I mean, Green Bay. Green Bay would be a good example of going from an not older minded, but an older head coach who's been in the league for a while, who has his distinct style, to a new age, and the Rams as well, going from Jeff Fisher to McVay. I think that might be the best example. Pass left side of 2nd and 7 is caught by Justin Hall. He's going to fight his way for a first down and a gain of 8, maybe 9. Good enough both our Shanahan disciples, but like there is just that new wave of how you need to think about building a team that I don't think Vrabel would do great in New England, but it still would be better than what they were last year. Handoff to Jaquandre White up the middle will gain about 2 on 1st and 10. Eli Walker makes a play there for Memphis' defense. Like, New England's going to be better than they were last year just because they have more talent on that roster than they did last year. But like they're still going to be a very interesting team to watch and see how May develops. I think all eyes would be on him in a preseason out of the AFC East. McLennan in shotgun back to his right. 2 receivers to each side will look to throw here on 2nd and 8. Dump off right side is caught and going to be a gain of roughly 6 for Lorenzo Lingard. I can see them winning 7 to 8. I see them winning 6 to 7. Like I think that's their floor. Their floor is 6 to 7. Their ceiling is probably 10, 9, 10. Like they're going to be hanging around the majority of the season. Going to be an annoying team to play against. McLennan handoff up the middle on 3rd and 3 will go nowhere. A trio of Showboats meets him in the backfield, and Lorenzo Lingard couldn't keep the drive alive on that play. Also, McLennan probably should have kept it. Probably wasn't an option, but he had space to run if he chose to. The opening drive of the half will resort in a punt. Not how you wanted things to start. And so Mike Rivers on to send this one down. Punt comes off clean. Going to be returned bouncing out of bounds. We're going to say this bounces out of bounds at. I need to see the spot. That bouncing out of bounds is either going to be that's probably going to be like the 2021 or potentially up to the 20. Hey, no, it's a touchback on a punt. It'll be like the 30, I think. Either way, some pretty neutral starting field position for Memphis here for this opening drive of the half as we head to a commercial break. You know, it is such a minor thing, but the Seahawks for the Seahawks practice get-ups is, like teams wear like Miami wears an orange jersey for the quarterbacks. That way it's like an obvious tell of, hey, you don't hit them during practice and training camp and all that. A lot of teams use like a bright red. I want to say Dallas just uses their home uniforms for that. By the way, I love that Seattle uses their throwbacks for that. Like, it looks clean. I love Seattle's throwbacks. Tampa uses the creamsicle orange for that. We'll still at commercial break here, waiting for Memphis' first drive of the half. We shall see. Man, Memphis is feeling well right now in this one. Yeah, they already announced that they're not going to be using the Oilers throwbacks this year, which I hate. But it seems like that is trying to set up for something for the following year. Is the Titans have been using that logo and that branding since they became the Titans in '99. It is the Titans are it's due. They're due for a rebrand. And yeah, they changed their jerseys when Vrabel became the coach, but even then, it's been about 6 years at this point. So I think they're shaping up for some kind of rebrand, which means maybe not becoming the Tennessee Oilers again, but maybe a jersey style that more so is Oilers inspired will become the primary at some point. But I do think it's time for the Titans to rebrand in some capacity. I've been on record saying I do not like the Titans branding at all. As Wynn and shotgun back to his right, going to hand this off left side for Deneric Prince, and going to lose about 3 on that play. Yeah, like an Oilers color and style, and that same like modern retro jersey style, similar to like what the Lions did last year. I love those Lions uniforms. Like I've been on record for saying I hate the Titans branding. I'm gonna do a video during the off season where I discuss the brandings for all those teams and like the history behind them, and I'm gonna go in on Tennessee. Win the throw in 2nd and 12. Pass over the middle is incomplete. Pass was high as he was hit while throwing that one. Kwame Lassiter still goes up and tries a one-hand grab on that one and nearly comes down with it. Yeah, free rusher up the middle, and just a man still puts that pretty accurately into Kwame Lassiter. Or towards Kwame Lassiter, but just couldn't quite. Yeah, Lassiter couldn't hang on to that one. It's there. It's not a bad throw at all by Wynn. Especially with pressure in his face. Yeah, just a bit high. We'll look to throw in 3rd and 12 now. Has some time passing right side, and that's well off the mark. And luckily not picked off. Throws that well short and inside. Nearly picked off by a diving Keenan Isaac. Instead, it's a 3 and out forced by this Houston defense. We might see a more defensive centric second half in this one. All right, punt comes off clean for Memphis. This will be returned beginning from about the 21. And has some room, gets up past the 35, breaks some tackles past the 40, and brought down near the 43. That's Lawrence. Yeah, Lawrence Keys on the return. Yeah, that 2nd and 12 play, that made a difference. That's still a great throw by Dresser Wynn. Even with it being high, it's on the money to where it gives Lassiter a chance to catch that one. And with pressure in his face, like that's not a bad throw at all. It was 1st and 10 for Houston, ball on the 43. McLennan in shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the right. Gonna send one of them in motion right to left. As McLennan will play action, look to throw. Penalty marker down. McLennan will roll to his right to buy some time. Still looking, throwing one deep right side. And incomplete. Some terrible space in there between Kiki Chisholm and TJ Vasher. Both kind of dove for that ball. There is a penalty marker down. I imagine this would be an illegal shift. There are 10 minutes to play in the third. Yep, illegal shift on Houston. Alright, so it'll still be first down. You'll take it. It'll be a 1st and 15. Not bad. But they're still showing that 2nd and 12 play from Memphis on the previous drive. So McLennan in shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the right. Ball on their own 43 as McLennan will look to throw once again. Pass right side is well off the mark and incomplete. Do that behind Lawrence Keys. It's 3rd and 10. Yeah, this has not been a great showing to begin the second half for either offense. I would still say Dresser Wayne has made really one bad throw on that 3rd and 12. That was not a great one. That 2nd and 12 throw, I will say, was a solid throw considering, again, hit while throwing that ball, a man in his face. But McLennan has not been on target so far this drive. As he will look to throw once again on 3rd and 10. Pressure coming and trying to avoid it, now just throwing it away. Good job of McLennan to avoid the sack and throwing it in the vicinity of one of his, I think that was Kurt Merritt in the vicinity. No, it was Lorenzo Lingard, okay. Yeah, Memphis is finding a way to get pressure here. Yeah, he was being pulled backwards as he got rid of that ball. So yeah, solid play by McLennan. As that was number 50. Isaiah Greenmay was the Memphis player into the backfield there. As they're gonna send this one down once again. Punt's going to bounce and be down. Was that near the 17-ish? So 8.5 to play in this third quarter. Both offenses have not done much yet. But Memphis will get the ball back for the second time this quarter as we head to a commercial break, I believe. Yep, commercial break. Yeah, gonna be bent back well again, and he's still getting enough into that throw for it to sail out of bounds. It's a weirdly impressive throw. Oh, Steven Adams playing so well for the Rockets in this series. I love it. Yeah, it shows his arm strength. And that was always the thing with McLennan. Is entering this season, he was only the 3rd string because he's not as mobile as Anthony Brown or Nolan Henderson. But like he has the better arm than both of them. But like again, the UFL is definitely a league that favors a mobile quarterback. Like I mean, we saw that with Adrian Martinez last year. We saw that a little bit with Alex McGough in week 1. Whenever with St. Louis, aplenty we see it. Bryce Perkins, we see it. But somehow, I mean, both Memphis and Houston have found good success with less mobile, more so improviser quarterbacks instead of the typical mobile quarterback and scrambler type. And that's the key. A lot of quarterbacks are not starters or not like solid backups. because they don't know when to play it safe and either tuck the ball and keep it and just go down, or to throw it away, or to get out of the pocket and throw it away. That's a big thing guys need to learn. I mean, like, Will Levis is a great example of someone who last year, if he just trusted himself more and played safe and played a lot safer in a lot of those games, we're talking about a different look of the NFL right now. Yeah, exactly. Every play does not need to be a completion. Every play does not need to be some heroic effort. You always got to play to the benefit of the team. I mean, like, it's again the hero ball. Is like Josh Allen throws quite a few hero balls every game. He didn't have as many interceptions last year. Kind of tuned down them, but like really, like Josh Allen is known for like he's gonna have one or two hero balls every single game, where it's just 3rd and 12, not much going on. Sometimes it happens on 2nd down, but not much going on. Just gonna tuck one as far as I could and hope for the best. As we're just coming back from commercial break, Wynn and shotgun back to his left, 2 receivers to each side. And going to keep it himself past left side wide open. That's a first down and more. Jonathan Adams getting past the 35 to about the, what's that, 39-ish, 38? Exactly. And that's what makes the greats as well. I mean, you have like a Brett Favre where where he's gonna throw a lot of interceptions every year and still be a great quarterback. But a guy like Brady and Rodgers, who are like some of the better passers of past decade, they knew when to play it safe. And speaking of playing it safe, pass left side by Wynn's gonna be picked off. Terrible decision. That gets returned to about the 36. About the 33. Dresser Wynn, what are you looking at there, bud? Just talking about playing safe with the football. There was not good separation. What did he try to throw? Was he looking for Lassiter on the slot fade? Yeah, that's a bad decision. Was looking for Kwame Lassiter on a back shoulder fade. And the separation wasn't there. He didn't put enough air under that ball, and it's directly into the hands. Directly into the hands of Jaquan Shepard. And now McLennan. Ball on the plus 32 will look to throw on 1st and 10. Pass left side is caught by Kiki Chisholm and gets up to about the 26-ish. Yeah, that's we'll see what the defense can do, but that's one that's giving the game away type of play. Yeah, you have the hitch with that. D. Anderson ran a hitch, the slot fade there from Kwame Lassiter, and just separation wasn't there. Wasn't enough air in that ball, and it's directly to Jaquan Shepard. The 2nd and 4 handoff will gain maybe a yard there for Kirk Merritt. I wish we'll get a different camera angle for this play so I can properly see it. Yeah, that was supposed to be a back shoulder slot fade, but he threw it inside. And again, he threw it on a line. That's the big thing. I mean, if you're gonna throw a back shoulder, you need to throw it with some arc. Yeah, he must not have seen the defender as well. That's definitely a possibility. McLennan alone in shotgun will look to throw on 3rd and 3. Pump faking, has some time. Gonna step to his right to buy some more. Still looking, gonna keep it himself and stretching forward. What's the spot? That's gonna depend on the spot. It will be 4th and inches at the very least. A good job by McLennan using his legs in the backfield there to find that space. 6.5 to play in the 3rd. Houston needs to get something out of this drive. I mean, they're well in the field goal range already, but you gotta be able to find the end zone here. This would be your 2nd drive starting in plus territory. Yeah, they gave McLennan the 1st. So back alone in shotgun, 3 receivers to the left will look to throw once again. Quick pass right side, caught by Kiki Chisholm for a gain of roughly 6. Yeah, it's smart run. I mean, that's both off of it. Like, playing smart with the football is not only just knowing when to take the sack and knowing when to throw it away. Sometimes it's knowing when to get out of the pocket like that. McLennan in shotgun back to his left, going to hand this off to Merritt right side, and that goes nowhere. A loss of a yard. There's absolutely nowhere there. That was Jalen Allen on a tackle for loss. He was the first showboat into the backfield. Now 5.5 to play in the third. 3rd and 5 coming up. I mean, if Memphis can hold them to 3 here, that's once again, it's them keeping them in this game. McLennan in shotgun back to his right. 3 receivers to the left. Ball on the 17-yard line. McLennan, the throw. Quick pass. Left side. Incomplete. Too far outside for Lawrence Keys. It's a 4th down coming up. And this Memphis defense, bend but don't break. It's going to keep them with the lead and save Dresser win there. Definitely. There's definitely too much of a focus on a mobile quarterback. And part of it is now, I want to say part of it's on Mahomes. I want to classify Mahomes as a scrambler the same way I would like a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen, but yeah, not the extra point. The 35-yard field goal is up and good. Houston finds themselves down by 1. Exactly, run like that is fine. That's why it's like you have the scramblers like a Lamar Jackson, like a Josh Allen. I much prefer improvisers that do things like that, where you get like a 4-yard carry every once in a while to pick up a first. And mainly guys that can really move in the pocket and still be able to make a good throw. So I would classify Mahomes as an improviser. I would classify Burrow as one. Yeah, exactly. Anthony Richardson is the clear definition of a scrambler. And we'll see how it works up this next season, but I mean, the Colts may be looking at quarterback in the following offseason. Yeah, like, classify Mahomes as an improviser, Burrow, maybe Herbert, he could run every once in a while. Stroud, maybe, Jalen Hurts as well. So we're waiting the kickoff here from Houston. Yeah, like that definitely is a good way to explain it, but I still don't really love explaining it that way. As the return will get up to what's that, like the 27-ish? Because like Anthony Richardson can still throw really well. It's just he's not accurate with his passes, so he gets most of his success on the ground. And when you find ways to cut the field in half for him and to give him the easy throws. True. That is also true. Well, I'm still agreeing. Like Anthony Richardson, he really needs to improve his pass in this upcoming season, and he needs to stay healthy if he's going to be the long-term answer over there in Tennessee in Indianapolis. There. Play action looking to throw for Dresser win. 1st and 10. Has some time. Throwing right side. And that's caught along the sideline near the plus 43. The 43 plus 47 for Kai Loxley. What a throw from Win. That's how you throw a Morse over back shoulder. Yeah, that's cutting the field in half, making it easier for the quarterback. Still don't love the separation there between him and Isaiah Henney. But it works. Ball now on the 49. Win going to be in shotgun. Quick pass left side. Going to be dropped by Chris Pierce. Would not have gotten much there anyway. 2nd and 10 coming up. Yeah, exactly. His running style is definitely more so of a running back running style where you're not scared to get hit. But Richardson needs to slide more, needs to get out of bounds more often if he's gonna be the long term answer for the Colts. And I'm saying that like Tua is the same. Like Tua is by no means a scrambling quarterback or one that should be scrambling a lot. As Wade gonna keep it himself left side and going to gain about 4. Like Tua by no means is a quarterback who should be running a lot. But when he does, he refuses to slide or get out of bounds, and I hate it. It's like the improvisers are definitely more like Josh Allen's a similar way, where Josh Allen does not like sliding or going out of bounds. He lives for the hits, but he's built in a way where he can get away with it. Wind and shotgun back to his left, 2 receivers to each side for 3rd and 6. Has some time and pressure coming and sacked. Ball comes loose. Picked up by Houston going the other way. The 20, 15, 10, 5. The Roughnecks have the lead. Yeah, Dresser Wayne got laid out there. A big time play for this Houston defense. They have needed something like that. Back to back forced turnovers. This one goes for 6. They sent 5. 1 comes in untouched. Wynn never saw him. That's not even a blindside rush. Man, oh man. And that wasn't even off the blind side. TJ Franklin's the one who picks it up and goes the other way with it. I believe that's Amani Marsh who forced it loose. Yeah. Amani Marsh off the left side from the corner blitz, untouched, unblocked, and lays Dresser Wynn out. And then TJ Franklin scoop and scores. Like that, I'm shocked. Typically you see that from the blind side, and it working just as that plays out. But that being from the right side, man, that's all right. Gonna go for 2 here. McLennan in shotgun, back to his right, gonna look to throw here, rolling to his right, passing right, and that's caught by Justin Hall. It's a 7-point Roughnecks lead with 2.5 to play in the 3rd. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he gets crushed. That's a helmet to ball to force to lose. That's a great play by Houston's defense and a great time on that blitz as well. They timed up that blitz perfectly and it worked wonders. McLennan just keeping it simple on the 2-point try. And so Memphis, at one point, they were riding the hot hand in this game. They were dominating. And then back-to-back turnovers and 11 unanswered points makes this a 7-point Houston lead as we're approaching the 4th quarter. That is a massive play. Again, we're waiting for Houston to send this one down after that. Yeah, they're getting time here with this one. Oh yeah, I mean, again, this would this would have been a great game for them to like try and fill out the stadium. I understand why, because like Memphis does not travel well at all as a road team. As kickoff will be returned from inside the 20, going to work his way left side past the 35 and out of bounds near the 38. And like Memphis already is a team that's struggling to get a fan base, so they do not travel well at all. I am more so interested if they continue to ride this hot hand like they have been, and they find a way to beat Birmingham next week, or play a really close game with them. How will the crowd look for when they host Michigan or DC? Those are the big ones. If they're sitting 4-3 or a really good 3-4 for that game against Michigan, like that game against Michigan is going to be a massive game in a few weeks. Win in shotgun, back to his left, two receiving options to each side. Gonna look to throw here on 1st and 10. Pressure coming past left side, caught by West Hills. Has some blockers for a first down and more, past midfield to about the 48. This is a big time drive here for Memphis. It needs something out of it. Yeah, exactly. With the merger, the way they handled the merger did not give Houston much light. So if they can continue this level of play, as West Hills gets the handoff up the middle, and that's a gain of 9. West Hills handoff up the middle for a gain of 9. But it's definitely like if they can continue this level of play, and again they make games matter late in the season like they have been so far, fans will definitely show back up. But I'm definitely at the point where I kind of wish that they swapped how they handled Houston in the merger. As Wynn will go in to hand this off to West Hills once again, left side, and it's a gain of 2, enough for a first down. Because in the merger, like this Houston team, the core of it was the Houston Gamblers in the USFL, but it has the branding of the Roughnecks from the XFL. I kind of wish they kept the core of the Roughnecks in the XFL and kept the Gamblers branding instead. Because I feel like what Houston had going in the XFL was great. The Gamblers, not so much. Obviously, we're seeing that in these first 2 years. As Wynn gonna look to throw in 1st and 10. Pass left side, caught by Jonathan Adams, and that's a gain of roughly 8 up to the 30. Ball comes loose, but they're gonna say down by contact. Definitely confused the fans, confused fans of both the team and of UFL as a whole. And also, again, the Gamblers were not a good team in the USFL. So you should have kept the core of the Roughnecks in the XFL. I think it would have been fine. Handoff to West Hills, left side, going to gain about a yard-ish, as that's going to be the end of the third quarter. 15 minutes remains. Memphis all of a sudden down by 7. All of a sudden down by 7 after 11 unanswered points by Houston. But still plenty of time to play, and the Showboats are moving. We'll see. We're headed to a commercial break. I am on the side that I much prefer this Roughnecks branding than I did the Gamblers branding. More so, I preferred the XFL style of it, especially in that 2020 season. That was a fantastic brand that they have, especially with PJ Walker behind center. But I much prefer the oil rig logo. Like, that belongs in Houston. This style, the oil rig logo, belongs in Houston. So I much agree that the branding choice was correct. But it's just like I would have much preferred a Houston team that's consistently good. If it meant sacrificing the branding, then fine. But again, Houston has found their rhythm so far this season, so it's a mute point for right now. We'll see how they do the rest of the season and next year, but definitely that first year meant a lot, and they kind of squandered it. Yeah, and I fully agree that keeping all the Texas teams wasn't that bad of an idea. I just think the way they went about it was a bad idea. But it's also like, for as much as San Antonio is a good team, or what last year was a good team, and I like their branding, do we really need San Antonio? I feel like there were a bunch of other XFL teams whose stay in power and whose fan base would have been so beneficial to the UFL right now. Because, like, at this point, there's not really a lot of rivalry games or big time games that would. Yeah, again, San Antonio does have a good fan base. Don't get me wrong at all. But it's like of all the Texas teams, maybe you say Houston should have been the one that goes. It's if they're only going to keep two Texas teams, it was going to be Arlington and one other. Maybe you get rid of Houston just because of the proximity to Arlington. But like a team like Seattle and the Sea Dragons, their fan base would have been so beneficial to the league right now, and to the XFL conference as a whole. Like you have again the 30,000 plus on average are in St. Louis. You have these 15,000 plus in DC, and I want to say Seattle also got up to about 20,000 plus on average in the XFL. Having those three markets would have been massive. I do understand why, because the cost of traveling out to St. Louis was not going to be fun. So it makes sense. You want to keep all the Texas teams because travel cost is a lot cheaper that way. Yeah, I definitely feel like the Brahmas were they could have gotten cut, not just because they were the newest brand out of the Texas team. I was thinking, going back to how important I feel branding is. The fact that the Roughnecks have leaned heavier into the Bandit logo this year is a great choice. All right, 3rd and 2, Win in shotgun, back behind him, 3 receiving options to the right. Gonna play action, look to throw, rolling right now, buying some time. Has room, gonna keep it himself. That's a 1st down carry for Dresser Win, but he gets laid out after the gain of 3, and there's a penalty marker down. This should not be unnecessary roughness. What's the penalty? If this is unnecessary roughness, that is bullshit. He slid well late. Good. Okay, good. They picked up the penalty. Thank you. They picked up the penalty. So because of it, let me make sure I get the right number here before I look. Yep. Sean Preston Jr. laid a perfect hit there on Dresser Win. To the point that Win is now on the sideline. He's going to be forced to take a look at here for concussion protocol, I believe. So that means EJ Perry is in the game for Memphis now. Perry in shotgun, back to his right, going to hand this off to Deneric Prince, left side, trying to find some room. Nothing going, hurdling and spinning his way to the 30-yard line. No gain. A loss of about 3 with a penalty marker down. I would love the Breakers branding to come back, but not in New Orleans. All right, they picked up that penalty as well. Yeah, that's a loss of about 3 for Memphis on that 1st and 10 play. And loss of 4 back to the 31. Nothing going on that play. Okay, EJ Perry now in the game. It was a great drive. But they need to be able to cap it off here. Perry to throw on 2nd and 13. Has time. Pass over the middle. Is caught by Prince with room to run. Pass to 25 and finally being brought down near the 24. Even though I am a Florida resident, I do not. I mean, and for as much as I would like to have a team back in Florida, it's not the time. It's not the time for Florida. It's definitely not Tampa. I feel like if they're going to put a team in Florida, it would be Orlando, try to capitalize that market that spring football loved. I mean, Orlando loved the spring football, even back to the AAF. I think the Breakers name would make more sense in like a San Diego. As Perry to throw on 3rd and 7, has time, pass right side and incomplete. Little high but still through the hands of Jonathan Adams. He places that on his chest. That's a big time pickup. It's there. Yeah, I mean, it's still good. Keaton Isaac has good pressure there in coverage, but you have to place that more so on the chest of Jonathan Adams. He's a good enough receiver where he'll come down with that, even if having to do it through contact. As Matt Coughlin on for a 42-yard kick from the left hash to make this a 4-point game. The kick is up and it is good. California, yeah. Again, I will also admit that I am kind of a West Coast bias for a potential expansion because I would like to see some of those West Coast teams come back. I mean, there's a really again in that first UFL expansion video, I was heavy West Coast with those cities I picked. As we're heading to a commercial break, 4-point lead for Houston as they get the ball back. Like again, next week, yeah, around this time next week, I will be posting a part 2 to the UFL expansion video that is definitely more so East Coast centric. But like, I'm all for the UFL expanding out west at some point. There's so many markets out there that are dying for a team. Shall see. Plenty of time left in this game. It's a 4-point lead for Houston. Here's the thing: if Memphis is to win this, they need to score more than 20. I mean, they have only done once. Yeah, because like the biggest things that I pointed out during that last UFO expansion video when talking about San Diego and the Bay Area is that they just lost teams that because those would be similar situations to St. Louis. Where like there's cities that have just lost their team, like just lost their NFL team, and they were those even though like the tail end of their runs, yeah, the stadiums weren't getting filled like they used to, but Oakland fans and San Diego fans are still some of the we're still some of the most diehard fans in the NFL. Very similar to St. Louis. So I would love for them to have a chance to show up and show out and prove themselves as a fan base again. Similar to St. Louis, I feel like it would do wonders there. Obviously, Seattle would be a great spot for a team just because that's the nature of Seattle, and they showed out massively for the Sea Dragons. They would do it again. But like, I also feel like Portland would be a good spot as well. Yeah, another thing that I like doing for the expansion stuff is that UFL needs the hardcore fans, definitely. Oh, there's some. The silence getting feisty there. Hold on. All right, there was some pushing and shoving going on the Houston sideline there after that drive for Memphis. So, but it seems like it's all worked out. It's a miscommunication between what coverage they were supposed to be in. And there's still 13 minutes to play in this game. Kickoff underway, going to be returned beginning from the 5-ish yard line. And going to work his way past the 25, still has some room. It gets up to about the 30. So Houston will begin the drive from there. Another thing with those expansion videos for the UFL that I liked doing is not being able to depend on previous cities that these spring leagues have been in the past few years. I'm gonna make sure that point gets across a little bit more in this next one, but it's just fun to brainstorm of those ideas. Pass left side gonna be caught for Justin Hall. That's a gain of about 5 up to the 36. You know, like it's so easy to be like, yeah, Seattle should get a team back, or Orlando, or what was another one, Pittsburgh. But no, it's like if the UFL is going to expand, they're obviously gonna go to some of those cities they've been to already, which both sucks, but also fully get. McClendon gonna keep it himself right side in the read option. Now gonna pitch this back to Justin Hall, who has room to run down the sideline. Past midfield and still going to about the 40. Alright. Nice little trickery there. A weird kind of triple option almost. I don't think that was intentional though. It might have been. I mean, Hall has plenty of room down that sideline. But he would definitely be in the MVP race. And now Houston would be fighting for that one spot in the. I mean, they still are. I mean, if both Michigan and Birmingham lose this week, you're tied all of a sudden for first place in that USFL conference. I was trying to make sure this wasn't a forward pass. Oh yeah, because Memphis is using their challenge here, saying that it was an illegal forward pass. I think that stays vertical. I think that stays horizontal though. That's 41. That's close. That is very close if that stays horizontal or not. Yeah, that's that. Bob Stoops, take notes. That's how you use a challenge. Well, that is close. I think Memphis is gonna win it though. Nearly a great play by Houston there. But yep, it is going to be an illegal forward pass on Houston. Memphis will win the challenge and get a second one. Nearly a great play. It's by inches. It's forward by inches. That's really close. That's a great play for. Great challenge for Memphis there. Yeah, great play, a even better challenge. I mean that's a game defining play right there. Being able to get past midfield like that. DJ Johnson still is not happy about that. Like that's definitely a game changing play. And that all of a sudden gets called back. I mean, if they're able to get past midfield and to about the 40-yard line, and then they're right there in field goal range, basically. And we had 12 minutes left. That would have set up Houston for a field goal or potential touchdown. As McClendon in shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers to the left, ball on the 35-yard line, looking for that 41-yard line. McClendon to throw, pass over the middle is dropped by Zaquandre White. And now, thanks to that challenge, it is a 3 and out for this Houston offense, and Memphis to get the ball back in a prime spot here. A great challenge. Great challenge. 11.5 to play in this game. Memphis only down by 4 and getting the ball back. It seems like Dresser Win is good to go for the rest of this game, which that would be a great piece to add back to the offense. Punt comes off clean. Going to be returned beginning at the 20. And to work his way left side, Isaiah Henney is lethal as a return man and has room down the sideline, still going, eventually out of bounds, but not before getting well past midfield, past the 40, down near the 30 maybe. Isaiah Henney, a lethal return man for these Showboats. And just like that, they are in prime position to retake the lead. Isaiah Henney. What a return. And we head to a commercial break with 11 minutes to play in this one. Beautiful. Oh yeah, the Marlins are wearing their City Connects today. It has a great return in Memphis now, set up brilliantly. We shall see. If Dresser Wynn is back for this drive, Memphis is sitting really well. EJ Perry just isn't the guy at quarterback for this team. I'm shocked he's listed as a QB2 and not Troy Williams. It wouldn't have really made a difference. Neither are that great, and probably more so backups. But we'll see. All right, still waiting for. There you go. Just went back from commercial break. You might just realize we're getting game 1 of the second round in the NBA tomorrow night. And we're also getting game 7 between the Warriors and Rockets. I do not like that. All right, just coming back from commercial break. All right. Does seem like Wynn is back under center. He's in shotgun and back to each side. Two receivers to the right. Gonna look to throw, pass left side, caught by Deneric Prince. Has some room, gets to about the 30 before being brought down. Yeah, Dresser Wynn being back in the game is great. They can get in the end zone and retake the lead. They're sitting good. Second and 4 coming up. Wynn and shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving options to the right as well. Gonna hand this off left side for Prince, trying to get that edge and going to gain about 2 maybe 3. 10.5 to play in this one. Gonna come down to the wire, and I love to see it. A 3rd and 1 coming up. And we have a stoppage before the snap. Oh, there's a challenge marker down. Is Houston going to challenge this for holding potentially? Yeah, it's Houston challenging it. Yeah, they're challenging for a potential holding here. It would be that left shoulder that he held. Okay, you can see a little bit better there. The question is just, did it... I think they're going to win this challenge as well. He gets up in that left shoulder pad. All right, they're going to lose the challenge. Mike Pierre is saying that there is a slight hold, but he lets go in time before it gets egregious. So Houston's going to lose the challenge and lose the timeout. It's a 3rd and 1 coming up for Memphis. You see, there's a slight hold, but not enough to warrant the penalty. Yeah, I guess. Alright. And that's a tough one to lose, though. That is definitely a tough challenge to lose. I don't blame him. I don't blame him for not being happy about that. I kind of agree. But yeah, it wasn't egregious, but it's still enough there, I think. All right, Win and shotgun back to his left. 3 receiving options to the left as well. Win going to hand this off up the middle for West Hills. He's going to stumble his way for the first down. A gain of 2 up to the 25. 10 minutes to play in this one. They keep the chains moving. Now Win back in shotgun, back to his left. Going to hand it off once again up the middle, and that's a gain of a yard. Yeah, I mean, I get that you can't call everything that looks like a hold as a hold, and it needs to be like really, really egregious. But like, there's a difference between grabbing the shoulder itself and holding that way and getting underneath their shoulder pad. He got underneath their shoulder pad. That should have been a holding call. If it was just grabbing the shoulder, fine. But getting the shoulder pad is what should have decided it. Win the pass left side and off the mark, getting complete on 2nd and 9. Looking for Kwame Lassiter, just a little bit too far outside. Unable to get that one-hand grab in there. Win was asking for a penalty after the fact. I don't think this is... If anything, that would be offensive pass interference. Yeah, good no call there. Well, yeah, exactly. But to be fair, though, there is a difference between going back and looking at the camera angles to decide if it's a holding or not, and the ref seeing it in real time. I think that's one where, because they called it on the field, it got no call. Pass left side, caught by West Hills, breaks 1 tackle and gets the first down and more. Gain of roughly 12 for West Hills, and Memphis is in the red zone once again. A 1st and 10 coming up. He has been a great addition to this Memphis offense in this game. Playing really, really well. And it gets up to about the 12-yard line there. Again, the fact that West Hills wasn't on a roster entering this week is crazy. So that's a tough loss for Houston. Leon O'Neal, slow to get up after that play. He's been a big factor for this Houston defense this season. Him being slow to get up is not a good sign. And it's one of those things where I like that we have the transparency of seeing the replay booth and hearing my computer go through it. Doesn't mean I have to agree with the call. It's like, okay, I understand what he's saying with that. Doesn't mean I like it. As Memphis has called their first time out here. Exactly. And by having that transparency and being able to listen in to the replay center, it does remove that gray area a bit. But there's always going to be gray areas for things like pass interference and holding. There's always going to be a gray area where you can't really definitively say for sure this is holding because of this. Like that one, like if it was me in that booth, I would have given Houston a challenge because he got underneath the shoulder pad. We're going to hand this off to Hills once again up the middle, and that's going to be a gain of only about a yard, maybe 2, with a penalty marker down. Like, you do need some consistency, and I feel like Pierre's always going to call it that way, which is fine. All right, illegal shift on Memphis is the penalty. Going to replay first down here. Now a 1st and 15 from the 18. Yeah, if only. But to be fair, like this super challenge rule is very unique to the UFL. We're not going to see it in the NFL. Hand off to Hills once again on first down. It's going to be a gain of only about 8 yards. At some point, you can need a pass here. So a 2nd and 14 coming up. Win in shotgun back to his right, looking to throw. Houston sends pressure. Pass over the middle is caught. They're going to get it inside the 10 to the 9. That's D. Anderson on the reception. Under 7 minutes to play. Oh, yeah? I do love the super challenge as a rule, though. It fits the UFL well. I don't want to see something like this in the NFL. Because like it wouldn't work as well in the NFL. It fits here in the UFL. 3rd and 6, Win and shotgun back to his left, looking to throw. Has some time, pass right side, and that's well off the mark, incomplete, looking for D. Anderson. And Anderson wanted a penalty there. Now that's a kind of agree. Should have been hands to the face at the very least. But instead, they're going to say hand fighting between him and Keenan Isaac. It's a 4th and 6 coming up. Maybe not pass interference. Definitely should have been hands to the face. But nonetheless, Matt Coughlin on to make this a 1-point game. The 27-yard kick from the right hash. Just under 6 minutes to play in this one. Kick is up, and it is right down the middle. A 1-point Houston lead with 5:47 to play in this one. This game's going to come down to the wire, and I love it. Houston is trying to get to what very well easily could be a 2nd place spot in the USFL conference after the week. Memphis trying to continue running this hot hand. A modified version of these clock rules, I feel like would work great in the NFL. I don't think the constantly running clock would work in the NFL. But like there's definitely a way to where you can have this same idea of a constantly running clock and kind of find a good mixture of the two. Yeah, you did. You did call it. It'd be over 40. Yeah, for back-to-back weeks, Memphis has scored 20 plus points. Last year, they only scored 20 plus once in the season. This year, they do it twice. So, improvement. The question is just, can they win this still? Kickoff underway. Going to be returned beginning from about the 6th. And that's going to be returned up to about the 23. I agree that NFL games can take a while sometimes. But the thing is the games that take a while are typically some more. There's two type of games that take a long time in the NFL. There's the really high scoring affairs, and there is the slogs of just neither offense can do anything. They constantly go 3 and out. But even then, those games don't take that long. I definitely feel like in some capacity, a constantly running clock would benefit the NFL. I just doubt they'll ever do it. Quick pass left side on 1st and 10 will be caught by Josh Peterson and gets a gain of about 9 on the play. It's just if that's going to be implemented to the NFL, there needs to be a better balance than this. I do agree. Overtime in the NFL is terrible. And like for as fun as last week's overtime game was between Memphis and Birmingham, I don't love the shootout style. It's better than the NFL, but college overtime is the way to go. 2nd and 1. McClendon, the throw, pass left side, caught, and going to be out of bounds for a gain of about 6. That's Justin Hall on the reception. It's a balance. I mean, the NFL definitely has a lot to work towards. And they could definitely take a lot from what we're seeing in the UFL, but there has to be a balance to it, for sure. 4:40 to play in the game. McClendon under center, back behind him. Going to hand this off up the middle, and that's going to be a gain of about 6 there for, I believe that's Zaquandre White on the carry. Yep, that was Zaquandre White on the carry, a gain of roughly 6. 4:15 to play. Houston going to try and make this the final drive of the game, which they very easily could. McClendon in shotgun, back to his right. 3 receivers to the right. 2nd and 4, 4 minutes to play. McClendon going to look to throw. Quick pass right side, caught by Hall. Breaks a tackle, going to get the first down, and then some. With a gain of 6, he passes midfield. The only way this becomes a 2-possession game is with a touchdown and a 3-point try from Houston. No matter what, most likely there's still going to be a 1-score game after this drive, which is big for Memphis. That is unless, of course, Houston completely runs out the clock on this drive. McClendon under center, back behind him, 2 receiving options to each side. Going to hand this off up the middle, and that is a gain of about 2 for Zaquandre White. As the clock is going to continue to run here. They're not going to waste. Memphis is not going to use their timeouts just yet. The Ravens just signed a new offensive tackle in Joseph Noteboom. Okay. So a 2nd and 8. McClendon in shotgun, back to his left. 3 receivers to the left as well. And he's going to hand this off up the middle once again for Zaquandre White. Finds some room and picks up 7. Up to about the 45-yard line. And that we're going to see Memphis call a timeout. Yep, Memphis will call their first timeout. Okay, yeah, see, I don't know why they said they used timeout earlier. That was Memphis' first timeout. With 2.5 to play in this one, a big 3rd and 1 coming up. Now, see, I don't like the idea of calling a timeout there. I mean, either way, you're kind of screwed, but you probably should let him get that first down. Maybe there's another field goal in this game. I mean, Houston is in a perfect spot here to make this the final score. Under 2.5 to play, they pick up the first down. Memphis will either then call their second timeout or let it get to the 2-minute warning. Either way, Houston is going to be able to kill about 40 seconds-ish of clock after the 2-minute warning. There's, of course, if Memphis can make the stop here, this game's about to get a whole lot more interesting. McClellan in shotgun, back to his right. 3 receivers to the left. Gonna shift it back to his left now. As McClellan gonna hand this off up the middle for Lorenzo Lingard. He's gonna get stood up. And it'll depend on the spot. What does the pile say? It's close. It's 4th and inches at minimum. He got stood up. It depends on the spot. I don't think he got it though. Yeah, we can review it for the spot here. It's close. Yeah, he got it. Wow. By the tip of a football. All right. Lorenzo Lingard gets the first down for Houston, and they're sitting really good right now to be able to run this clock out. This game ended up being a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I still going into it, I thought it was going to be a good game, but this has been a very tight one. Is Memphis going to use their challenge? Memphis is going to challenge the spot of the ball. I do not hate this. It is so close. I need to see his sideline angle. It would be that second effort, I think, that would get it. Here we go. It's so close. It would be that second effort. It is so close. It might be too close to overturn. Memphis is going to lose the challenge because it's too close and too tight to overturn. They can't get a good look at the pile, and I agree with that. It's close. It's very close. And they're going to say that was too close to overturn. So Memphis loses the challenge. They lose a timeout. And it's 1st and 10 for Houston. And just like that might have just been the game. Memphis can stop the clock twice. Once with a 2-minute warning, once with their final timeout. So in theory, they still have a chance. McClellan in shotgun back to his right. 2 receiving options to each side. 1st and 10 from the +39. McClellan going to hand this off to Jaquandre White, who gets met in the backfield instantly, trying to flip the field and gonna get back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. Somehow, Jaquandre White gets back to the line. At one point, he was like 5 yards behind the line. Yeah, you had to try that there. You had to. That's why I don't hate it. That's why I don't hate it. It was really close. It's just that second effort. That second effort got it. As we have reached the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play, a 2nd and 10 coming up for Houston. As they look to close this game out, one more first down would do it. Memphis can be able to stop the clock once more. So it will be a 3rd down try with about a minute 55 at most remaining, I believe, most likely, depending on obviously how well the run is. And then going from there, yeah, I mean, Memphis would get the ball back with like a minute to spare, maybe. With no timeouts, they're going to be pinned deep, most likely, on the punt. It's going to be tight. It's going to be a tight finish. We're still at commercial break for the 2-minute warning first. The Chiefs are bringing in an undrafted punter? Okay. Justin Walker. But that reminds me, where did... Oh, did he get picked up by Atlanta? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nick Nash out of San Jose State is undrafted. Was he undrafted? Yeah, undrafted, signed with Atlanta. Okay. I like that pickup for Atlanta. We'll see if he can stay on that roster. But yeah, Nick Nash, man, he won the FBS Triple Crown last year. And we're still at commercial break. All right, just coming back from commercial break. 2 minutes to play, a 2nd and 10. Memphis can stop the clock once more. It's gonna be a good finish here. McClellan under center, back behind him. 2 receiving options to each side. We'll send the receiver in motion left to right. McClellan gonna toss this left side for Keys on an end around. Has some room and going to get about 3. Stays inbounds. That's the key thing. Eli Walker on the tackle. Memphis will call their final timeout with 1:54 to play. I like that play call. Try and get tricky with it. And it damn near worked, but Memphis played it well. You still gained 3 on that play. Memphis out of timeouts. If they could make the stand here on 3rd down, Houston will be able to get the clock to about a minute 20, minute 15 before having to snap the ball. Again, as this game comes to a close, this is the only game on the docket today. Next one will be tomorrow at noon as the DC Defenders make the trip to Michigan, in what should be a really damn good game as well. And the end cap of Week 6 tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST. The San Antonio Brahmas make the trip to Birmingham to play the Stallions, in what should also be a pretty interesting game. As McClellan will look to throw, pass over the middle is caught and diving forward for the first down. Kiki Chisholm on the reception, and that should do it. A minute 47 left, a dangerous play call there. Memphis sends the house. A great throw by McClellan on the money. And Chisholm gets that second effort dive in order to get past the first down marker. What a game for Houston. They get to 500 for the first time in what feels like forever with this team. And depending on the outcomes of DC, Michigan, and San Antonio, Birmingham, the Roughnecks could potentially be sitting tied for 2nd place in the USFL Conference after winning 3 of their last 4, including sweeping the season series against Memphis, as they have to call their second timeout before they begin the knee downs. So yeah, in Houston, they sweep the season series against Memphis, winning both of them. They beat San Antonio last week. So all 3 of the wins of this season have been against lower caliber teams, which means they have a very tough final stretch of this season, having to travel to Birmingham next week. Then they host both Michigan and DC, and then they have to travel to Michigan. Yeah, both teams played really well in this game. Memphis just came up just short in this one. As they look to bounce back next week, they host St. Louis, trying to find a way to get back into this season, but most likely their matchup against San Antonio in week 8 is going to decide who ends up as the worst team in the UFL this season and who will get the first overall pick. Yeah, this has been a great game as the knee downs begin. Houston, man, out of nowhere, find themselves at 500 on the season. Jalen McClellan been a massive bright spot for this Houston team. Like an absolute massive bright spot. And again, Memphis still played well. Turnovers cost them for sure. The interception cost them. I think the biggest thing that cost them was that scoop and score. That scoop and score by TJ Franklin. That won Houston the game. There's a second knee down. Gonna need one more before this one officially goes final. But it'll be a 21-20 win for Houston. 2 games done in week 6. 2 more to go. Both are tomorrow. And again, what has been a really interesting week 6 so far. Back-to-back really tight games. Back-to-back games that were decided due to the turnover battle in them. As there's the final knee down by Jalen McClellan. Houston, 3-3 on the year. A massive turnaround compared to what they had last year. DJ Johnson has been proving me wrong this past 4 weeks. But that'll do it from me today. Again, I'll be back tomorrow for both of the games beginning at noon EST. But for DC, Michigan, I think that's my game of the weeks right now. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have yourselves a damn good one. Peace.